Welcome to my safe space, a place to breathe, feel, and heal. There's a kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful. It's the silence inside your head when you're standing on the edge of something new, but your own thoughts hold you hostage. Every idea meets a wall of what-ifs. Every spark of courage gets ignored by doubt. So you wait, you plan, you perfect the moment. But while you're waiting, someone else takes the chance you only dreamed about. If that feels painfully familiar, this episode was made for you. Miles was 8 when his teacher first said it. That boy is brilliant. He had just read a book 3 grades above his level and solved a math problem no one else in class could. From that day on, everyone called him Miles the Genius. At home, in school, among friends, Miles knew who he was. He didn't play like the other kids. While they ran around, he read. While they guessed, he calculated. When the awards were called, everyone already knew. Miles. His classmates even stopped competing. He was valedictorian, best graduating student, the teacher's favorite. To parents and teachers, it was inspiring. To Miles, it was pressure disguised as praise. He wasn't just achieving anymore, he was protecting a name. In his 3rd year in the university, his friend, Daniel, came with a wild idea. A simple tech platform with a small budget and huge potential. Bro, we could build this together. You do the structure, I'll handle the hustle. Miles smiled. He liked the idea. It was risky, but it could work out. He told Daniel to give him a week. Then he opened his laptop and started planning. One plan turned into 5. One concern turned into 50. He created spreadsheets, flowcharts, timelines, risk analysis. Then he started thinking, what if it flops? What if it succeeds too fast? What if I can't keep up? What if this is the thing that proves I'm not as smart as they think? He didn't say no. He just never said anything. By the time he was ready, Daniel had moved on and built the idea with someone else. That startup? It blew up. When Miles saw it trending online a year later, he felt jealous, but he told himself, it's fine. I've still got time after that. It became routine. He'd have a brilliant idea, sketch it, map it, perfect it, then pause. He'd share it with a friend and watch that friend run with it. One launched a digital agency. One built an e-learning platform. Another started a podcast that blew up. They all called Miles the brain behind their start, but he never started anything of his own. While his friends were using his ideas to soar, he was still thinking about his perfect idea. Even love wasn't safe. When he met Layla, she made him laugh like he hadn't in years. She saw past his mind, and they clicked instantly. They texted every day, talked for hours, shared the kind of things most people hide. He wanted to ask her out. Type the words, then erase them. Want to go for a walk this weekend? Delete. I enjoy talking to you. Do you feel the same? Delete. What if I said I liked you? Draft. What if she doesn't feel the same? What if I make it weird? What if she's just being kind? 2 months later, he finally built the courage, but she was already with someone else. And he sat there, haunted by the thought of everything he could have had, if only he had tried. When he got called in for a job interview, he started analyzing again. He prepared, over-prepared, researched the company, practiced his walk, his answers, his handshake. When he got to the waiting room, he saw the others, confident, relaxed, and smiling. They laughed with the receptionist, asked bold questions, held themselves like they belonged there. Miles sat in the corner. What am I even doing here? They're probably better. He sat with his resume clenched in his hand for over 2 hours. And then, quietly, he stood up and walked out. It was a regular morning. In his scattered bedroom, he was staring at another plan for another idea that he knew could work. He looked at the file, but this time, he didn't analyze. He didn't perfect it. He just opened a new page and typed an email to someone who could help him build. His finger hovered over send, the same old shaking tension in his chest. But this time, he sent it. It wasn't perfect, but it was done. And for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel like a prisoner of his mind. He felt alive. What Miles learned was that overthinking didn't protect him. It just delayed him. He finally understood. The fear of failure had already cost him more than failure ever could. He still thinks deeply and he still feels the pressure. But now he moves even with fear in his pocket, because a small imperfect step is worth more than a perfect idea that never leaves your mind. 5 things Miles would like you to know. 1. Set a decision deadline. Overthinkers wait for the perfect time or every answer, but that time never comes. Give yourself a specific short time frame to decide, I'll think this through for 48 hours, then I choose. No turning back. When time is limited, your brain focuses on what matters most, not every possible outcome. 2. Create before you critique. Overthinkers often try to perfect things before even starting. Start ugly. Write the idea. Sketch the plan. Record the rough draft. Tell yourself, I'm allowed to make it better later, but I can't make it better if it doesn't exist. Start with momentum, not mastery. 3. Limit what-if thinking. Most what-ifs are simply fear wearing a lab coat. They sound smart, but they paralyze you. When you catch yourself saying, what if? Write down the fear and ask, what's the worst that can happen? Then, what will happen if I do nothing? Most times, inaction is scarier than trying and failing. 4. Take micro actions. Overthinking feeds off complexity. Actions breaks it. Break big goals into 2 to 5 minute steps. Instead of go to the gym and work out, just walk to the gym and walk back every day. Action trains your brain to focus on doing, not delaying. 5. Get an accountability mirror. Overthinkers live in their heads. They need outside feedback to stay grounded. Share your goal with a trusted friend or coach. Ask them to check in weekly. Even better, commit publicly, for example. I'll launch by July 10th. You don't need someone to push you, just someone who'll notice if you stop. Overthinking is just intelligence without direction. If you guide it with timelines, action steps, and accountability, it becomes your greatest tool, not your biggest trap. Like, subscribe, and share with someone who feels stuck too. This is your safe space. Thanks for watching.